10 years ago, teenagers ran the world. Everything teenagers had been doing in the 2010s had finally become mainstream, and everyone of every age had caught on. But unfortunately, over the last 10 years, we've gone from the most lit group of teenagers in the history of the planet to the most lame group of 20-something-year-olds in the history of the planet. We used to be the trendsetters, but now we're all cranky old people even though we're in our 20s. So what is it that made us the most successful and lit teenagers in the history of the planet? Really, the short answer is it was pretty much everything we did ended up becoming super popular over time. The first one is definitely video games, and specifically video games on YouTube and the rest of the internet. The Call of Duty trickshotting community basically predicted what the internet was going to be in the future. The way the FaZe members all had their personal channels that they would upload on consistently, doing live commentaries and all that, they were total trendsetters. And the thing is that this was a brand new field of content that no one had ever been doing before. So by us watching them and supporting them, we contributed to it also. Nowadays, when FaZe members talk about what they were doing 12, 13, 14 years ago, they always talk about how they felt like they couldn't even talk about it. How it felt like a secret double life. How they basically only told their parents, in particular because they were making money and their parents needed to know about it, but always felt like they could never tell anyone else. But now, in the present, being a YouTuber is this like ultimate badge of honor. Everyone wants to be a YouTuber now. We were all in the future. We really were. Trickshotters really were the original internet trendsetters. The way most YouTube communities work now is basically how trickshot communities worked back in the day, except nowadays people are really soft. A lot of the music that trickshotters would use in their videos over 10 years ago became crazy popular on TikTok. We were the ones in the future. Everyone else is just catching up later. And the way the trickshotting community, how everyone was a part of it. If someone was just in a team and played in six-mans and hit some clips that were in Team Taj's, they were contributing. Whether they were in FaZe or a team that just had 1,000 subscribers, everybody was a part of it. Whether the teenagers were the one creating the content or consuming the content, we all had an understanding of quality entertainment, what people really enjoyed watching, the stuff that everyone wanted to see, whether people realized it or not. We were years in the future, and everyone else of all the other ages was just catching up afterwards. And with the internet, it was way more than just YouTube. People born in the 90s were basically responsible for all of social media being popular because we were the ones on social media first. When I first downloaded Instagram, way over 10 years ago now, the only thing on there was just my friends posting. That was it. It was nothing else. And I'm sure most people in their mid to late 20s had the exact same experience. And on other websites like Twitter, even though I wasn't necessarily interested in anything my friends were posting, everything I was looking at was also from teenagers. Before 2014, pretty much the entire internet was people under the age of 30. And then all the old people started joining the internet and took their misery with them and unleashed it on the internet. But anyway, young people were totally responsible for the world we live in now. We were the trendsetters using Twitter and Instagram before anyone thought it was interesting. All these other old people would look at us and go, "Oh, why are you using Instagram? Why are you staring at Twitter? Yada, yada." And then 10 years later, they're the ones addicted. And I don't really think people understand what we did. Whether it was creators or consumers, we made it possible for people to have a job by uploading to YouTube or uploading to Twitter or uploading to Instagram or TikTok. We are the ones who made that possible. We were the ones who did that because we were the ones on the internet first, and we were the ones who created all of this. People have changed their lives because of what young people did with the internet. Over 10 years ago now, we were the trendsetters. And the one app I gotta shout out really quick is Vine. Young people made Vine amazing. That was one of the first apps where everyone logged on with the intention of seeing people they don't know as opposed to only checking on people they do know. And it was just young people doing funny little 6-second skits, doing jokes, people like Nick Coletti in his room just saying super funny stuff. That was all young people. People changed their lives just from doing simple stuff like that, and all young people are why that could happen. And the impact we had on the world expands way past just using our phones and being on the internet. SoundCloud rap was one of the ultimate trend-setting movements that young people have ever done. And it really started 20 years ago with someone like Soulja Boy at 16 years old just uploading Crank That from his room. He made the beat himself, did the vocals himself, all on his computer, uploaded to YouTube, and became a viral sensation. And 10 years ago, it was everyone getting hyped about all the SoundCloud rappers and people posting dance videos to them. What made SoundCloud rap so amazing was that all of the artists were working together all the time. You would get a song basically every single day, and typically it was multiple songs a day that had like 3 huge name SoundCloud rappers on it and were produced by 2 huge name SoundCloud rappers. Everyone was linking up all the time because they could, and that was all possible because of social media. All the SoundCloud rappers were non-stop working together. Whether it was over the phone or in person, they were always teaming up, and it was super effective. Just think about 10 years ago, how many of these artists were collabing and how hyped people got about it. Whether it was Cardi and Uzi doing a tour together in 2016, someone like 21 Savage coming on the scene, having an album produced by Metro Boomin, Young Thug blowing up, doing all these songs with everybody. It was crazy how much stuff was happening all at the same time. And it kept going. In 2018, everyone would always go crazy about Lil Baby and Gunna teaming up. And of course, they would add other artists like Young Thug too. We got dual albums like the Young Thug and Future album, the Future and Drake album in 2015. We were getting everything, and people were so hyped because it was all just everyone teaming up, working together, and creating really good music. And fans of SoundCloud rap completely underestimate how much of a role they played in making rap music take over the world. Anyone who was consistently playing SoundCloud rap when they were around their friends and who was going to the concerts in their area when artists would show up, they contributed to it. One of the main reasons SoundCloud rap took off was because the concerts were just crazy. The beats were insane, and you'd put them on crazy speakers, blast at high volume, and everyone was just jumping up and down going crazy. The experience people got at those type of concerts was way different than any other event they had been to before. Young people really were the trendsetters 10 years ago. When we were teenagers, just not even thinking about it, just doing the things we enjoyed doing, we totally changed the entire world. But unfortunately, 10 years later, these same people are so lame. The first thing that changed was in March 2020, we all got locked inside. A lot of young people before then loved their lives, were super happy, enjoyed everything every day. But getting locked inside was their first real setback. And to call it a setback was an understatement. A lot of young people started struggling with depression and social isolation for the first time. Before lockdowns, there were always lit concerts from rappers. Post lockdowns, there's like no rap concerts. None of these rappers work together anymore. They all hate each other. And the vibe's just totally dead. It's just over. And it's really sad because I think there's still, whether people realize it or not, there is a demand for those type of concerts, that type of music, those type of experiences, but it's just gone now. And it seems like young people don't really have a desire to bring it back. And although YouTube and other social media is still around, young people don't contribute to it at all anymore. They just consume. There are a lot of young people who before lockdowns were consistently posting on social media. But after lockdowns, they weren't posting on social media as much anymore. And they got in the habit of not posting. Habits die hard. And they ultimately flipped those habits without really any intention of doing it. But ultimately, they're now stuck in the habit of not posting. And what makes it even worse is that nowadays in 2026, the internet is pretty much designed to make people miserable and stressed out. Nowadays, when people log onto the internet of all ages, typically the number one thing people see is beefs. People getting in super aggressive altercations, being nasty, disrespectful, immature. And whether people realize it or not, it is definitely stressing them out and having a big impact on their mental health. Nowadays, over 90% of the internet is 50-year-olds behaving like teenagers and propaganda. Pretty much everybody of every age needs to stop using their phone and social media so much, but it's significantly worse for people in their 20s because this is the one opportunity we all have to do whatever we want. Teenagers aren't in control of their own lives. At some level, they're just bored, so they're on social media because they have nothing to do. People ages 50 and up, they have already lived their lives. They don't really want to go anywhere. They don't want to do anything because they've already done it all. But people in their 20s, instead of going out into the world and accomplishing everything they want to do, they just sit on the internet and stress out. When young people used to watch FaZe Clan on YouTube, no one was thinking what they were doing. They were just on autopilot. When they were on Vine, they weren't thinking about it. It was autopilot. When they were listening to SoundCloud rap and going to SoundCloud concerts, it was autopilot. But now, everybody overthinks, and it's terrible. We used to be on autopilot in the best way possible. We would just do the coolest things ever without even thinking about it. But now, when people are on autopilot, they're on autopilot gambling all their money away because social media algorithms tell them to gamble. And then now, when people overthink, they're overthinking simple social interactions. Like, oh, I could hang out with my best friend, but I could just sit here and gamble. Yippee! As opposed to being on autopilot and just hanging out with their friend because that's what they should do. We used to be the ultimate trendsetters. But nowadays, everyone our age is a total copycat. We used to just live our lives and then post it on the internet and everyone would copy us. But now, everyone our age looks to the internet to dictate what they do in their life, and it's lame. Because everyone's a copycat now, there's basically no individualism, and people always say, oh, like, you know, this certain part of life feels dead or whatever. Yeah, because everyone's just a copycat and no one's a trendsetter. We need trendsetters in order for life to feel exciting. And we were the trendsetters, not anyone else. So now that we're not setting any of the trends, of course everything's boring. And it's really negatively impacted social life. Most young people are just so stressed out from seeing all this crap on the internet all day that they have basically no desire to socialize with people in person. And then when they do, they're way too stressed out and they're not present in the moment at all. For me personally, it's been really frustrating seeing people I used to think were extremely talented and have a bright future basically just wave the white flag. And my number one problem is no matter what's gone on, lockdowns, not being able to get a job, everything being expensive, none of that's an excuse for people to stop hanging out with their friends in person. I know so many people who 10 years ago, either they were at school or at work or socializing. That was it. And what's crazy is because they were social people, when they weren't socializing and they were at home, they were on their phone because it was an opportunity for them to socialize more. They definitely had the right intention by using their phone and social media. But now, most of these people are depressed, stressed out, and totally antisocial. And honestly, it's really sad. And even more than it being sad, I think it's frustrating. I use the word frustrating when I think a problem has a very simple solution. I think there's a very, very simple solution here. Young people need to stop overthinking what they're doing, and they just need to go outside again, just like they did 10 years ago. Unfortunately, social media is just not the same anymore. It's designed to mentally prey on people, and young people just got to put it down. 10 years ago, people were at their house because their parents wouldn't let them go somewhere. Now, these people are 25, 26, 27, sometimes even older, and they're sitting at their parents' house all day, doing nothing, and anytime one of their friends hits them up, they always have an excuse for why they gotta sit inside and do nothing like a loser. But if these people just started socializing again, they would feel so much better. A lot of these people used to have a lot of friends. They used to be really popular. They used to have objectively good social lives. It makes sense that they're miserable. But unfortunately, it seems like they're just getting in their own way. And they're in their own way because their phone is in the way. They can't put their phone down, so they can't do anything. I truly believe that if every young person just stopped using social media and used their phone for at most 1 hour a day and intentionally socialized at least 3 times a week, oh man, our society would be so much better. Just so much better. And I really don't think that's that much for people in their 20s. I feel like that should just be the expectation as an adult with responsibilities who wants to be a grown-up. But unfortunately, I'm not sure if that's going to change because, as I said in my last video, a lot of people have the middle school mindset. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video.